So it's Tuesday 15th, just gone 6:30. We had a little night breeze, about 10 knots. So we've done about 15 miles, which is pretty good, as we've done that sailing. So sun's just coming up, and I've no idea what the wind's doing today, but we'll press on. Menorca is, well, pretty much disappeared now. But hey, wind's light, about 3 or 4 knots now, just coasting along. But yeah, we had doing about 3 or 4 knots at some time last night. Still heading the right direction, so it's all good. So 10 o'clock, the wind, we've got merciful 7, 8 knots north. Menorca's over in the distance there. Menorca, you can just about see dead ahead of you, about 17 miles, so doing about 3 knots, so I know 5 or 6 hours maybe, if the wind continues. But after yesterday, really happy to have 6, 7 knots, just fine. And as I am back sailing alone, I have show you this. It is my, call it stirrup safety ladder. I used to do a fair amount of horse riding, so these are kind of stirrups. So if I fall over, trailing from a back cleat, there's 3 steps that allows me to pull myself back up onto the boat and out there. A fender, I guess that could be longer, I suppose, an extra 5 or 6 meters, I suppose, if the wind picks up, but and knots every meter. So if I fall in, I swim like mad to the line and pull myself in. Nobody else here to pull me in, so I think that works. It's in its beta design at the moment. Maybe another step, and maybe another 5 or 6 meters, and maybe a bright yellow line, something like that. But there it is for now, just in case I'm stupid enough to fall in. So we got to Gale, Bimmy Becker, a couple of hours ago, really quite dead in Menorca. Supermarket was on the shore, so we got a taxi in, restocked, and you know what, the weather is just so all over the place. No, 0 knots, 20 knots, I mean, are we passage making or not? So honestly, I can't see the point like staying in Menorca for another few days, for 2 or 3 days perfect weather, because it just isn't. So ahead is Ile d'Air. That is the most southern tip of Menorca, and I'm steering 120. It's blowing kind of northeast, so I've got an open beat. Sardinia is 100 degrees, so I'm just going, it's 200 miles. I mean, I did 1100 non-stop from Vivero to Torrevecchia, so, and you either put up with 0 wind and it'd be baking hot, or 20 knots when the sea lumps up. But the difference is, with 20 knots at least you're making 5 knots. So I am reefing the main, jib up, and I'm starting my heading for Sardinia. about 7 o'clock, but I know the wind dies at night, so if I get a few hours then fine. But yeah, this is goodbye Balearics, and hello Italy. So it's 8:30, Tuesday 15th of June. We have just left Menorca. That's revelation on myself. And we're heading to Sardinia. Been in the Balearics now long enough, I think. So we're heading to Greece, then Turkey. And seed of a plan, an acorn of a plan to research going through the Suez Canal and Red Sea. So either to Indonesia or down the east coast of Africa, Zanzibar, Madagascar, things like that, rather than sailing all the way back from Turkey through the Med down to Cape Verde, because if you leave Turkey and do the same distance you end up in Indonesia. So maybe not so much the normal route of Atlantic, Panama Canal, Pacific, but all the way around. Go to Indonesia, then to China, Australia, and then east across. So there's a race that goes to Hawaii to Baja, California. So if you can get from Australia to the Hawaii, then you do it that way around. Anyway, Turkey is the plan after a long few weeks in Greece. So hence me leaving. Nothing else in Balearics now, I've done it, and very nice it was. So we'll see what a 200-mile passage with this weather. It just does whatever it like. There's no forecast. I mean, it all changes. I mean, it's so variable in little areas. So we'll see. So my first night passage to Sardinia. So 200 miles that away. Fortunately the wind's blowing 30 degrees, about 6-7 knots, so that's just fine. Doing about 3 knots, but hey, that'll do for a night passage. Give me a chance to go sleep with my 30-minute alarms, so we shall see. Well, I've just been woken up by 9:30 alarm. Must have been asleep for an hour and a half. Pretty much it's gone dark now. All you can still see is the twinkling lights of Menorca. Lighthouses on both sides. Okay, so we'll come inside to talk. So 11 o'clock, wind is blowing exactly from Sardinia, 100 degrees, a little south of east, about 15-17 knots, so we are beating into it as ever, normal sailing day. Making about 4 knots, so but heading about 160 degrees, so not so good. Waves are about 6-7 feet now, but the more the wind picks up, the better the boat points into the wind and sails, and the waves are not so much choppy, but got about a 5-second period. So that's, we shall possess ourselves with a bit of patience and just carry on, really. It's set to pick up a little more, and again tomorrow morning, and then it goes north. So yes, just a classic slow beat to windward. A little bit, so the waves have got a bit bigger, and that's better though, because the fetch is longer, so it works better. Got the auto helmet is just locked, basically. Don't need that on. I just put it in manual and get the rudder set right, and then just lock it. And with the long keel of the boat and the rudder set just right, she just sails there without any helm. And the two double reef in the main, so the centre forces of the main and the jib just work with the long keel, and she just sails on her own, really. Benefits of a long keel, I suppose. But this is the wind we're getting all day, so yeah, we'll just go with it. I mean, it's I'm sailing south too, so it's just gets warmer and warmer, so pretty pleasant. So 4 o'clock in the afternoon, picked up to 20 knots now, receives about 2 meters, a little bit more, but yeah, just pressing on, not much else to do now. So this is passage making, where you just get whatever weather you get. No wind, 25 knots of wind. Okay, so that's blowing 25 knots now. Seas are about 3 meters. So I've been forward with my harness on, taking the number 1 jib down and put my storm jib up, thus. So that slows the boat down to about a knot, but it still allows me to keep some drive on the boat. So I'm just a very, very slow open beat, so rather than heading back or being blown sideways, and it keeps the boat on kind of 50 degrees to the it's big waves, so they're not breaking. When I was doing 5 knots into them, they were just like smashing all over the boat, but now it's kind of hove to, but not really. You're still doing a knot and a half. So it's Thursday, 17th of June, big grey clouds everywhere. I'm just running with the little tiny jib up. It's blowing 30 knots from the east, so no way anybody's going to Sardinia. I mean, the wind is just all over the place. The seas are about 3 to 4 meters. If I never really looked that big, I put my little 2.3 meter dinghy in that, you'd see. So little jib up, and we're running back at about 6 knots. Got about 20 miles to go, but the weather's just pretty shocking. So and it's sun has deserted us, so yeah, turn around, go back and restock. We got westerlies or southwesterlies, so they say, on Sunday, so I'll spend 2-3 days in Menorca. There's no rush, but yeah, you just cannot sail into that. You got about 35 knot apparent over the boat, so no. And for the last 20 odd minutes there's been this huge storm. Not so windy, fortunately, but as you see from the sea, a lot of rain. Not exactly sure this is normal weather for mid-June. Or just maybe it is now. Just like a weekend sailing in England. Except about 10 degrees warmer.